Oh, wait, I gotta do my.
Yes, yes, you absolutely do. You can keep it going if you like.
I gotta do the shimmy.
Wow. Welcome everyone to Eco Culture, where yes, you got to do the shimmy when we start when we start with that intro. I'm Jonathan. She's Loritza. And this is going to be an
What?
interesting episode. It's sort of an extra episode because we kind of did one today, and then we did an
Mm-hmm.
extended one today. And now we're doing another one
Yeah, a little
today.
bonus for everybody.
Yeah, and everybody likes a little freebie here and there. And I just
Sure.
learned something really interesting about Loritza, or should I say Loritza's husband. What is it that he does?
So he's a streamer. He goes live on Whatnot every night, and he sells manga,
Now,
discounted manga books.
now for people who don't know what manga is, now I do. I was actually pretty proud of myself. But can you tell us exactly what it is?
They are Japanese comic books. So what's a good one over here? Okay, so here's a very popular one.
And if
For
you're just
example,
listening to this, she has got, it looks like three or four bookshelves from floor to
it's a
ceiling,
yeah, it's a huge collection of books. It
just
actually goes
packed.
it just goes around me. Um, this is an example of what he sells. So this is a manga. This is One Piece. It's probably one of the most popular manga of all time. It is probably, babe, it is the most popular one of all time. And it's really interesting because it reads, in America, we read a book and we open like this. And in
Hmm.
Japan, it's the other way. They open left to right.
Wait, you read it from the back to the front?
Yeah. So you open it this way and then you read it right to left.
But is it written in English?
It depends. Well, this one is written in English. Yeah. But that's how you read it, like that.
It's written in English, but you still have to start where like the back cover would be. That's actually the
Yeah.
front cover.
Yeah. And then you read it the other way. And it's not,
Wow.
and we might say it's backwards. It's not really backwards. It's just different. Just the way they do it.
That's
Yeah.
fair. So how do we find him on Whatnot?
Look for Muck's Trash. It's spelled Muks trash. So it's his treasure, but it's his treasure trove.
So look for Mux
KS.
Muks trash.
Yeah, and he's the number one selling manga streamer on that platform.
That is so cool. That is
Isn't it
so
though?
cool. Yes,
He's been doing it for
honestly.
years and grinding, and he's gotten so many people encouraged and to start reading again. You know, a lot of times people spend a lot of time on their phones, so it's wonderful to see people actually reading.
That's a
You know,
really good point. That's not an app. That's not even what do they call it? An ebook or an e-comic or whatever.
no,
You
it's a
know,
real thing, yeah. And people have collections, like sometimes he sells whole collections or pieces, and then he has people who have collections that are looking for specific things, and he's always on the hunt for them. He's amazing memory when it comes to his guests and his clients and what they're looking for, and he's always on the hunt. And so he has people that come on there every night just to hang out.
I believe it. He's going to have
Yeah,
one more.
yeah, yeah, and hopefully he'll get more too. So if you're into manga and if you're into talking, anime and all that stuff, it's a good place to chill out for the evening. Yeah, or find a new story you haven't heard of before. He can suggest something to you.
There
Hmm.
you go. And it's Whatnot, which is a like a sales a live sales platform
Yeah,
app.
yeah. The way
And
I
just
describe Whatnot to people, if they don't know what it is, it's like think of what Uber did to the taxi driving service and made it independent. And it's kind of like Whatnot made the home shopping network independent. So now everyone's doing their own thing and selling their own products.
that is incredible. And I'm trying to think how many times have you sat there in front of all those books and I never first of all I never thought they were books. I didn't know what they were. I thought they were like pieces of fabric or something that was sewing related. And I don't know anything about sewing, so I just figured that's what that was. And all this time, those are manga books that belong to the number one manga streamer on Whatnot. So go to Whatnot, download the app if you haven't, and look for Mux Trash. That's Muks Trash.
Yes.
And buy a book, dang it. Buy a book.
Yeah, read a book.
Wow. No, I guess I should also mention that Eco Culture, this show, it's not a show about manga, although, we'll cover anything we want because it's our dang show. But it's really about being part of the solution when it comes to treating the planet well and the environment well. It's a podcast in partnership with Navarre Films at navarrefilmsllc.com, but also alienfant.com, alien and elephant mixed together, and prodigytalenttraining.com, which is my company. And we start teaching classes for the first time this year, this coming Sunday.
Oh, yay. Well, congratulations
Yeah,
on that.
thank you. I just got so
That's cool.
frustrated with this industry, and
Hmm.
as a actor and talent myself, and I started creating things online that were fun, but helped me get my aggression out. Like AI songs that make fun of the industry. And you've heard of that app called Suno, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's like, yeah, yeah. Mhm.
I would use that to create songs that talk about stupid audition directions and things like that. And I would create other little videos where it's me going like, "This is a dumb audition." I finally just said, why not actually help people beat that system or at least understand it so you can navigate it better? And I thought what it comes down to is actors and talent need to start now more than ever treating their work as a small business offering, not a hired hand.
Yeah.
You are a small business, you are a solution to a problem. You don't just have to accept the 125 that they put on Actors Access. You can negotiate for more. And anybody who tells you that you can't, they're wrong because it's not their business, it's yours. Doesn't mean you're going to get it. But I thought, people should really learn how to negotiate, how to honor themselves and take their power back as talent. And it starts with the self-tape, but it doesn't end there. It ends with emails and follow-ups and running a business. And so I said, dang it, I'm just going to start teaching again. So
Yeah.
this Sunday, 6 to 8 p.m. Today's the 25th. Oh my gosh, it's February 25th already. So March 1st is going to be the first one. You can go to prodigytalenttraining.com for more info. I don't even know if the website's ready, but dang it, we are. And there's that. So enough about all the promotion stuff. Let's
That's
talk about
exciting.
what's going on in the world.
Well, you were just mentioning AI and how you were using that.
I use
Um,
it a lot.
a lot of people use it, actually. It's the biggest thing that's taking over everything, right? Um, but it's not super sustainable at the moment. There's some changes got to be made. Got to make some changes and
What
move
do you mean
forward in
it's
a
not
positive.
sustainable?
Well, right now the amount of water consumption from AI data centers is a little bit unchecked. Because have you heard that AI is destroying the planet? I'm sure you've heard that somewhere, or somebody might have mentioned that, and you go, "What does that even mean?"
Yeah, in passing, yeah.
You're like, "I don't understand." Well, what it means is, well, for example, like you have a lot of servers that are running these data centers, and those things get hot, and so you have to cool them down. And so it requires a lot of water to cool down the heat coming from those servers and those data centers.
Oh,
Yes. So one data center will use 5 million gallons a day on average.
that sounds like an awful
That
lot.
is a lot. So like that is the equivalent to about like if you had a small town that had about 10,000 to 50,000 people, that's their water supply per day. So it's the equivalent to like a town the size of like 10 to 50,000 people being consumed per day by these data centers.
Did you say 10
And
to 50?
yeah, 10 to 50,000 people in a
I mean,
small
that
town.
that's a big difference, though. Which one is it closer to?
Probably closer to the 10. But you can also like think about how many data centers are in the United States right now. We got like 5,426 data centers in the U.S. right now
Wow, that's
and
like
building.
Davenport, Florida, which is right next to Kissimmee, which is sort of near where the Disney parks are.
Yeah, they actually just built. They're building a data center right here in Eatonville, which is like right down the street from where I live. And the town of Eatonville, what they got in exchange for the data center was free Wi-Fi. And
Hey,
yeah, but I don't know if the environmental impact and the other factors will equivalent to free Wi-Fi.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, not there now. To be fair, there is I believe that there is place for technology. You know, there's always good in tech. We just need to, as a human society, be careful how we go about it. Like it needs to. We all kind of need to have a sit at the table and have a discussion about how to regulate it and how to make sure that it doesn't go unchecked so that we're not hurting ourselves in the process. Because a lot of times I feel like humans, when tech comes along, we may not be ready for it. And we may be kind of like naive children that do ridiculous things with it. So right now, I just think because these data centers are popping up, that we do need to have a conversation of, hey, let's look at what the impact is, and then like what are our solutions moving forward? Because it's an industry that's not stopping.
Well, what is the conversation that needs to be had? What is the impact? And
Sure,
answer that. But then I do have a question about
sure.
it. But first, tell me those.
So okay, so some of the impacts are the water impact that I'm talking about, and like
Yeah.
some of and so even before a data center is even built, there's a lot of water consumption that goes into it because we have to build computer chips, right? So when you build a chip, you have to use what's called like ultra pure water. And so to use ultra pure water, to use it, you have to take 1,500 gallons of water, and then that equates to 1,000 gallons of ultra pure water. So you lose 500 gallons just to create it. And
How?
that's just in
Why?
the production. And this is the manufacturing of a chip. Because if you're doing etching or scaling or anything on a computer chip, you can't use anything that's tainted, because think about it, if you had like salt in it or any kind of impurities going into manufacturing the chip, it's going to cause issues on the way. You need the purest form of water that you can to manufacture the chip to begin
That
with.
part I get, but I mean,
Right.
where does all that extra water go? Like if you say you start with 15, but to get ultra pure, you get down to five or one,
Yeah, it'll go.
where's the other water going?
It'll probably go into the water reserves of the whatever the manufacturing facilities
But I
are.
mean,
Mhm.
why do we lose that water? If
To
we're
produce it.
purifying it,
Mhm.
I guess I just don't understand the science there. We're
well,
purifying
well,
it
just
and therefore we're
yes.
removing it?
No, well, it takes So it takes 1,500 gallons of piped water to create 1,000 gallons of ultra pure water.
I don't understand why that is though.
That might be another bigger convert.
I'd ask AI, but I don't want to waste water, which is what a weird thing to say.
Which is crazy, right? So like every time you do a AI prompt, every time you go on your, ChatGPT and you ask the question, it's the equivalent of pouring out one bottle of water.
Oh, that's not true. Is that
It is.
true?
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Okay, so then
Yes.
here's my next question. And I'm not saying you have to know the answer to this. I'm just saying this is the question I would pose.
Sure.
If the water that we use is to cool essentially these servers, these computers, right?
Right.
Why does that water have to cool the computer and then like go away or go down the drain? Why can't it cycle back to wherever it was when it was initially cold and just like recool it and
Mhm.
then send it right? Why is it not like I know it's not like this, but why isn't it not a
A
giant
closed
circular
system.
pipe? Yeah, like a
So that
closed
is
system.
so that is one of the solutions. That's called a closed loop cooling system. So
Why is it
that
not
is
like
one.
that?
It's not that it's not like that. That is one of the solutions to these data centers. It's not the only solution, but it's one of the solutions.
You're telling me they just got like a hose hooked up to the tap water thing and they're just using all that water? Like that's what I'm imagining. I mean, I know
That's
it's
what you're
not like that.
imagining. Yeah, no,
That's
it's
what I'm
just more
imagining.
involved in that. It's more involved in that.
They're using municipal water supplies?
80% of the water that it typically takes to cool this evaporates. Which
That
is
makes
wild.
sense.
It's, yeah.
Why
But
not
it's
use
needed.
coolant instead of water?
So I love that you're asking these questions because right now we're talking about solutions. So we know that there's issues going on, right? So
Yeah,
like, what are some of the issues? What are some of the solutions? So you mentioned the closed loop cooling system, which is, yeah, why don't we just keep taking the water and just keep pumping it around, which I think is, yeah, it seems like almost like a duh thing. Like, why aren't we doing that? And so some systems are like doing that because they're thinking the same thing. Another thing is free cooling, which is just taking like cool air from the outside, kind of bringing it in. Another one is called air cooling, which is exactly what it sounds. It's like AC air venting. And then another one is called immersion cooling. And that's kind of when you kind of like take the servers and you bathe them in like a synthetic liquid. And so one company that's trying to answer that call is a company called Nautilus. And they're like an EcoCore data center liquid cooling system. So
Well, get them on the phone.
so they're one company that's looking at this and saying, you know, we have these different things that in place. How can we maximize these efforts? Another solution, I guess you could say, is think about where these data centers are coming from and like where their footprint wants to be. Like Borealis is a data center. They build data centers everywhere, and their focus is to be eco-friendly, sustainable. And one of the ways you do this is, well, they're based in Finland and Norway, so they're easier for them because you want to keep these data centers in places that are cooler. You're using less energy if you can maintain them in just like cooler environments like that. So I would say some of the solutions today is find out where your chat GPT or where any kind of AI that you're using, find out where their data centers are connected to and see if that's something that you can support.
Let's find out right now.
Right?
Where
Like we can find out.
is Chat GPT's data center located?
Yeah.
West Des Moines, Iowa, says Google. I guess I could have asked ChatGPT. Wait, does Google take the water too? Like a Google search, does that use water? Is everything running on hydro coolant now?
Well, apparently there's these immersion cooling, which is working on synthetic cooling systems.
So those
that's
are
trying
in
to take.
place.
So those are solution ideas. I couldn't tell you if Google's data center is using that type of implementation. That would require more research on my part, to be honest.
Because it looks like there are quite a few locations, but it says the significant infrastructure is located in West Des Moines, Iowa. I'm all about finding solutions. I didn't know that it wasted water. Now, I'm not a scientist, but if 80% of the water in the cooling process evaporates, doesn't that just put it back into the atmosphere?
Well, you have to pump it from somewhere. You got to get it from somewhere. So if you're using the fresh water supply, or if you're pumping it from like the aquifers or from anywhere that the town is getting
the fresh water supply?
Yes, because remember, using closed loop cooling systems is a solution. That's not necessarily what happens up front. So you have to look into how are these data centers processing this water? How are they cooling off? And if they're taking it from the town, That's going to be an issue. I would encourage everyone listening to do a little bit of time and see if you can research how much, first of all, is there a data center near you? And how much of your local fresh water supply are they using?
Okay, let's
Yes.
do that. Let's do
I would
that.
say for everybody, just inform. Information so key and vital to sustainability. Find out what's around you. Find out if it's good for you. You know, sometimes these companies and
I
corporations don't really disclose what they're doing and how they're doing it.
I would love to see which companies are actually using the closed loop system or the synthetic coolant system. I've seen that. I know it's not the same thing, but I've seen it on phones that have internal coolant. I've seen it on like gaming computers with liquid
Mm-hmm.
coolants. Now I'm sure they it's going to take a lot more to
Yeah.
cool data centers, but I'd love to see who's doing that because I'm going to tell you, I do want to preserve water and everything, but if that means I can't use Google or I can't use ChatGPT or whatever, I would have a hard time stopping or reducing my computer and internet usage. And AI
Right.
is involved in everything now. I'd have a hard time doing that in order to conserve water.
Here's a, a solution to that. I would say is that look up who your AI service is. Because you just said, you know, Google and ChatGPT. Do you know that there are more that exist out there? For example, I use DuckDuckGo as my search engine. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah.
everybody's go-to is always Google, but there are more options out there. Right now, we're looking at a time where sustainability is a conversation that businesses are having. And so I bet your bottom dollar there are companies out there right now that are presenting a sustainable AI platform or an AI server that you can possibly use. And what
What
that would
companies?
mean,
What companies?
uh, honey, I'm presenting the information here.
Oh,
Let's do our research. Let's
okay.
do our research and find it. Because
You're
here's
not
what
presenting information. You're giving homework. That's what you're doing.
that's what yes I am. Do your homework, everybody. I also want to give a special shout out to my resources where I got this information. So anybody who wants to go out there and do their, you know, follow me up and see where I'm getting my information from, it's the EESI, the Environmental and Energy Study Institute. So if you go to their website, you can find out the same information I'm giving you right now about data centers and their water consumptions. And I'm hoping that don't let me down, EESI have solutions for people too. I'm having conversations. They did provide solutions here, but if you want to go more in depth, you can do that there too. They're the ones who provided some of the closed loop systems, the immersion cooling ideas. And then I went further and looked up who are the companies that are providing some of these ideas, and that's who I mentioned earlier. So just want to let everybody know they can do their own research and they can take some time to suss this out, see who's working for who, you know, see who has
Yeah.
putting ideas on the table for us, you know. But this the idea of AI taking over is actually affecting business pretty rapidly. Just on Monday, the Dow went down 800 points because of a Substack. So I don't know if you know James Van Gillian, but he runs Citrine Research. His portfolio was up by 200% over since 2023. So people follow his lead and listen to what he has to say. And basically, he did like a thought experiment from the year 2028. Like, what if AI goes unchecked and gets everything that they want? What would happen to businesses and economies? Like, what do we have to look forward to? And one of the interesting things that he mentioned was, you know, some of these bots, they don't have favoritism when it comes to like DoorDash or like things that they use. They're just going to use whatever's the lowest cost. And so they may not use Visa or MasterCard. They may use like something on Ethereum and just like go around and however program they can use to benefit themselves the most. If you program AI and be like the lowest cost, go there, they'll do that for you. And so when your business is people are afraid of like businesses losing people. And I mean, one of the things that they did was export businesses to the Indian market because, you know, with the telecommunications, they're like, oh, well, this is a cheaper rate, you know. Well, with an AI
Yeah,
bot,
look how great that turned out.
with an AI bot, you pay it nothing. There goes an entire market, right? So those markets are connected to a lot of banking. And so when you don't have those people, and that's just in another country, imagine in our country, but like when you don't have these people to support these systems, I mean, the American tax dollar is made by the American time that we put in. So if you have workers that are not clocking in, you don't have any time to tax. That really
I
starts affecting on a whole nother level when it comes to, I mean, we're talking about sustainability as far as water goes, but I'm thinking now sustainability as far as like our whole economy. Like it's a big conversation to be had. We definitely need some regulations, and we really need to look at what we're doing.
my question in my head, and I can't tell if it's a dumb question or not, which means it probably is, but who would have the money, the resources, the information, and the team, the knowledge to put together a data center and then say, hey, how about we take that from the water from the river right there? It's only going to be about 5,000 or 5 million gallons a day. That should work. Like, I feel like if you're smart enough to build a data center, you're smart enough to know that that's not going to last. And we got to find something better that will probably work better for its intended purpose and not drain the river. I mean, isn't that part of the thought process? I'm not necessarily asking you, but I'm just putting it out
Mm-hmm.
there. Isn't that something that you would think about when you're doing the R&D and you're doing
You
all,
would think so, but that would require ethics in your business plan.
but not just ethics. That that water is only going to be there so long, apparently, right? So
Mm-hmm.
so when the water's gone, what, you just close down your data center, you move to another location and use up that water? Is that the mentality? Or is the mentality they had no, they didn't care or they didn't know? I guess that's what I'm asking.
I don't know. I mean,
God, that took a while to get there, but
that's a really good question. And then also like being that they are using so much water consumption, how much conversation is being had with the people who live there about these buildings, you know? Um, and a lot of times I feel like city hall meetings and town hall meetings and things like that, the average person's not really paying attention to that because it probably happens like on a random Tuesday at noon, you know?
that's true.
So a lot of people are being left in the dark about, you know, these constructions and like, are they having the conversation about these buildings and what does it mean? And would the average person even know how much it's consuming? Because I mean, you know, chat GPT, AI, all that stuff, it's a good time. It's a lot of fun. And so having something like that at your fingertips and then hearing, oh, but you know, every time you do it, a bottle of water is being poured out, that's so far away from you that it's to be like, well, nah, because it is. It's so far away from you. Your hand is right there. Your phone is right there. This theoretical bottle of water, you don't ever have to look at or really think about it. So you move forward and you keep going because it's
Well,
easy,
that's true.
you
That's
know?
true. And you know, AI is used. I'm no AI expert, but AI is used for a lot of applications. Not just I have a question, let me type it in, but there are business applications that
Mm-hmm.
don't
Mm-hmm.
utilize any sort of user input. It's analyzing data as it comes in other ways and other forms.
Absolutely.
We don't even know. Well, at least I don't even know what's being used there, but I'm sure that's just drinking it down.
Mm-hmm. That's probably why it's taking 5 million gallons a day.
Now, okay, here comes that other dumb question. So if it's
But
taking 5 million gallons, a day, how many gallons is it taking those five away from? Like, how many
You mean
gallons
like
do you
how
have?
many? I guess it depends on where we're siphoning the water, right? So you have to look at the body of water supply that's closest to it. And I guess it depends on where it's going to be located and where it's being built. I mean, we're having one that's built here down the street, and I'm going to assume that it's probably coming from our local aquifer, which is kind of wild because in Florida there's sinkholes, which are a mess everywhere. You really don't want to take too much; you'll get more problems. But I don't know. Like,
It, I, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think it's going to stop me from using the tools I need to use
I don't
to
think it's going to
live
stop.
my life.
Uh, I'm going to be honest. I don't think it's going to. I don't think that people knowing this will limit their use because people know other things are harmful to the environment, and yet they're very blasé about those other things. Let's be honest. Okay.
Sure.
But what this awareness needs to be at the end of the day, what we need to understand is if we're going to move forward, because like you said, Jonathan, there's no stopping it. Like people are going to keep going, right? We need to make sure that the data centers that we're building are using some type of sustainable solutions, that they are having conversations with the places that they're around. We have to come together and find sustainable solutions now before it continues to go unchecked. That's where I'm saying is like that's the conversation that we need to have because if they're going to be built, then use sustainable things. If you know that AI does this, then maybe the question you had about can you generate a picture of me in this, maybe you ask it twice instead of four times.
Yeah,
Like just
that's never going to be a thing that I do. If I ask it, and I'm not bragging, I just know me. If I ask it to do something twice and it doesn't give me what I need, I'm gonna go three times, four times, 10 times until I
mm-hmm.
get what I need because I need it. If I didn't need it, I wouldn't be going to it in the first place, right? So
Yeah.
so I
So what would
think
you suggest? Like, what would you do if you were like, okay, I know this is happening. What can I do to move forward?
to move forward, meaning to
Like,
consume less water.
or like, what would you say would be a good like if you were someone like you're saying like I'm not going to do that.
I
Is there
am that
another?
person.
Well, that's what I'm asking you. What is something that you think that you could do to offer a solution?
I honestly don't know. I hate to say it, but I'm just trying to be as honest as I can be right now. I don't think I'd be a part of that solution. And I'm trying to figure out how I
Mm-hmm.
would be, but I don't see it. I don't think I'm informed
Mm-hmm.
enough to know how I'd be a part of the solution because until now I didn't even know this was a problem. So I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. And you
I
know
don't
what? You
even
don't have
think,
to
well,
answer.
let me tell you,
Well,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah,
even
yeah, yeah.
think I would consider switching away from the services, the online services that I use. For me, really, it's going to come down to not just money, but the convenience and the ease of use. If it's easy to use, I don't mind paying for it.
Here's the
Maybe,
thing.
well, I'm
Continue
almost
to
there. I'm
do it.
almost
Okay,
there.
okay,
I'm almost
okay,
there.
okay, okay. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
Maybe there is a service that consumes less because it uses a different kind of technology, charges more, but has a better user interface outcome thing. If that exists, I'll look at that.
There you go. There you go. That is it. Because if you know you're going to do the thing, then use a service that's trying to be better.
As long as it is better, and by better, it's got to be not just better for the environment, it's got to be better for my day-to-day use. Otherwise, I'm going to keep using what I know, not using something
Mm-hmm.
that has subpar features. I'll give you an example.
I understand what
I
you
don't know
mean.
anything about these two companies in terms of their data usage or their whatever, but or their water consumption, but I choose Zoom over Google Meet. And a lot of the meetings that I have scheduled or whatever, people are like, oh, I'll send you a Google Meet thing. I'm just like, yeah, I use Zoom. Why? Because I like the picture better. I know how to operate this, uh, whatever, ecosystem
Mm-hmm.
platform better. I'm not switching. Even though Zoom costs me money every year on the business
Mm-hmm.
plan and Google Meet is free, Zoom is better. I'm going to pay for Zoom. Now, if I knew that Zoom was, and maybe they are, making strides to be more sustainable, more responsible, I'd feel better and I'd be happy to support. But I'm not switching to Google Meet. I'm not. Even if I knew that Zoom was really bad for the environment, I would keep using it because it's what I need to be in my home, like, what's really bad
Yeah.
for my environment is for me to be homeless. So I I don't really know what the solution is for me or for somebody who is so
Well, you just said it, Jonathan. You just said the solution.
like I guess I mean the
You
immediate
did.
solution. The immediate
Well,
solution.
well, that's well. You just said. I feel like that for people who are looking at this or listening, who are the same page, and I get you. I totally understand. We live in the year 2026. Convenience is key to a lot of people. But people who are listening, who are with you, are like, yeah, it's convenient for me. I don't care. I'm going to keep doing this. I would say the same thing that you had just said. If you're going to be doing it, try to find a platform that's trying to do it sustainably. Give them a try. And if it doesn't meet your standards, at least you gave them a try instead of
Yes, I'll
being
give you that.
like, okay, instead of being like, it's just what I know and I'm not going to change. At
But
least
and I
give it a shot. You know what I'm saying? Because
yes, I do.
at this point, we are at the point where we do have um, that competitive spirit because people are looking for sustainable things. You may be the person where you're like, this is better for me. I'm going to pay for it, whether it's sustainable or not. It works for me, right?
And
However,
that's the difference
yeah,
between convenient and what I know works for me.
hmm
I'm not
hmm
I'm not arguing convenience. I'm arguing what I need in order to run my business and do my job. Google
yeah.
Meet doesn't work because it doesn't have the same, like you can't do the green
Well, no,
screen
I
stuff as
understand.
well. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
so it's not a matter of
So yeah.
convenience.
Well, see, that's what I say. Just look out there and see what other platforms are offering what you're looking for. You know?
I would actually, you know what? This is funny. I've been searching for other platforms other than Zoom, not because of the water consumption, which you never think that my web conferencing software is using too much water. You'd never think that, right? Um, but I'm looking for something that, okay, maybe I can find something that's cheaper and or better at what it does. Doesn't exist. I've looked. And so and I'm just using Zoom as the example, but then I use
Mm-hmm.
like ChatGPT, right? Well, you know what's kind of better at a lot of things than ChatGPT? Not everything, but a lot of things. Google Gemini. I don't know which one uses more water or more data consumption, whatever, but I do know that Gemini is better at coming up with images and short video clips than ChatGPT. So there's that crazy dance that we'll all end up doing. I think if a company is out there and they know that they've got the solution, tell us, charge us. Then, if we want to pay more, we'll pay more. But tell us that you've got the solution, not just for I was going to say the economy, the environment, but also the solution for our use case.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Mm-hmm.
everybody wins.
Yes.
Now, this is a lot of important, let's say, S that we've been talking about, right? But I'm gonna talk about something that's going on in the UK right now, where the issue isn't so much, at least in this story, isn't so much water consumption, it's water contamination. They're dealing with a lot of shit.
Mmm.
And
That's
there's a new book.
crappy.
Ah, well done. Well done. There's a new young adult book out, and it's called Floaters. Think about it. Think about it. It is turning the UK's sewage crisis into storytelling. The book is written by C.M. Taylor, and it was it, the author. I'm reading this, and it's so disgusting to me. The author was inspired to write this book based on a real experience that he had canoeing on the
Oh,
river.
gross.
Is it pronounced Thames? Thames?
Thames. Mhm.
Thams. It's a big river
Mhm.
out there where he and his daughters they stopped swimming after learning how often sewage is being discharged into the water. So he wrote a book about it. And the story follows teenagers whose favorite swimming spot becomes contaminated with a bunch of you know what,
Oh man.
involving into what's being called a coming of age revenge caper. In a meaningful twist, 50% of the book's profits actually will go to the environmental group called Surfers Against Sewage, which who knew that was a thing? They're basically helping this situation by selling a book about the situation
It's
geared
pretty great.
toward young readers. And as public pressure grows in the UK for major water quality reform, this guy is making a difference by creating something artistic, in this case, a book, and then partnering with Surfers Against Sewage. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so I thought to myself,
I'll
I
never
want
go
to figure
swimming
out,
with.
well, look, I'm not going to go swimming in the river, period. Okay. I mean, I'll go in the hot tub, but I'm not going in the river. And I'm certainly not going in the ocean. Um,
Stay out of the water.
there, listen, I'm just not. I'm I'm an indoor cat when it comes to that sort of thing, you know. But if you want more information on this really cool nonprofit, you can go to sas.org.uk. SAS for Surfers Against Sewage. I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on in the UK, though, for real. Okay. The sewage crisis, and I'm just reading this story here, has become one of the country's biggest environmental scandals. Across England, hundreds of thousands of sewage overflows have been recorded in recent years, with aging sewer systems routinely routinely dumping untreated waste, you know what that is, into rivers and coastal waters during heavy rain. Critics say what was meant to be an emergency release has become far too common, raising concerns about swimmer illnesses, wildlife damage, and long term water quality. So, this one group, Surfers Against Sewage, is leading the public pressure campaign. And let's see, they began in the 90s fighting ocean pollution, and they now run nationwide water quality monitoring and activism programs. Let's say I'm scanning this here. Organization has helped push the sewage issue into the national spotlight. So the bottom line here is in the UK, sewage pollution has moved from a hidden infrastructure problem to full-blown public and cultural flashpoints. So much so that it's becoming pop culture. It's becoming something that artists are now actually helping to solve because I guess the government ain't doing it. And surfers too. When was the last time you saw surfers solve anything?
Yeah, I know. Well, surfers give a shit.
Apparently. Well done. But I thought that was really cool. Instead of
That is really
big
cool.
protests and stuff, what this guy did, Mr. C.M. Taylor. By the way, the book is called Floaters. You can pick it up now wherever fine books are sold, I'm sure. What he did was use his art to make a difference. And when I see that,
I love that.
I applaud. I think that's what you're doing too. That's what I'm trying to do.
I've done that. I mean, I've used
you're
my
doing it right now.
I'm doing it. Oh my goodness.
I mean, right?
You're so right. You know, we are using our voice to try to spread awareness, and I feel like that's a solution as well. Like, if you feel like, you know what, I'm not the guy who knows any of the answer, but I'll tell you about it because maybe you know, and maybe you know a guy.
That sounds more like network marketing.
Hey, you know what? Hey, let's use telephone to our benefit. We're trying to spread good.
But how much water is consumed by using that telephone? No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Hey, what are you working on this week before I see you next time? Anything cool coming up? Any nothing. Monica concerts or anything? Monica and Brandy concerts?
I don't have anything really cool happening. I do have my studio now, so I'm going to be in there as much as possible, just creating and crafting and making whatever I can. Just my imagination box. I get to go in there and have fun.
You know what?
What?
You and I got to talk about a blazer. I would. Oh my God! You can make blazers?
I can.
I kind of have a thing where I collect. So I collect watches. I collect coffee cups, and I collect really interesting blazers.
I have your size too, so.
We should talk about that.
We'll talk.
So that's going to do it here. Tell us about your website again.
Oh, Alien Font, www.alienfont.com, spelled ALIENPHANT. It's out of this world fashion. So it's a platform. It's a landing spot for me. You can find my portfolio there. If you want to buy something fun, you can do that. If you want to see some of my old runway shows, you can do that too. A little bit of everything there.
Right on. If you want to learn more about what you can do to be environmentally conscious, aware, to be part of the solution, or see what other people are doing to use their creativity in order to be part of the solution, you can always go to navarrefilmsllc.com. They're the company that is in partnership with us producing Eco-Culture. And then my acting school, starting this Sunday, prodigytalenttraining.com. And that'll do it for our really interesting day of shows today on Eco-Culture. We covered so many things. We'll wrap this up with Loritza shaking it. We'll see you next time.